What's going on, everybody? This is Aaron May back again with the Extra Rvrb podcast, weekly recon powered by AME Media. Very happy to be partnered with AME Media. Really just always keep us improving. This week, I want to talk about something that is very well known, but I think people still struggle. Maybe they assume it's something that doesn't need to be worked on as much, or they think they're good at it. Even if you really think you're very good at this, I think there are always ways we can keep improving. And I really want to go deep here, get insightful about it, because it is just so important when you are in that leadership position, leading a team. And that is how to communicate effectively as a leader. Because if you cannot communicate effectively to your team, they're not going to know the objective. They're not going to know the mission. They're not going to know what's expected. They're not going to know their role, so on and so on, right? Have you ever walked out of a meeting and wondered why your team seemed confused or disengaged, even though you thought you were clear? And I can tell you, I've been there. I thought the message was very clear, but people still got confused. It's a communication wake-up call that every leader is going to face at one time or another. And what if, I'll ask you this question, what if the key to being a great leader, it's not just about what you say, but it's how you say it, and then how you listen. How you listen, right? Communication, you need to be an effective listener as well. It's not just about how you're communicating what you need to say. It's about how you listen to the feedback that comes back, okay? And this is the cornerstone. Communication is the cornerstone of effective leadership, okay? I want to talk today about a lot of things. We've got 4 pillars of communication that we're going to break down, right? Key takeaways are going to be clarity in messaging, active listening, emotional intelligence, and adapting to different situations. We're going to learn how to do all that right here, right now. And why does this matter? I touched on it a second ago, but poor communication leads to misalignment within your team. It can lead to low morale because people think they're doing the right job and they find out it's not what you wanted from them. And then it's also going to lead to missed opportunities because you weren't prepared, because the correct things were not done, because you didn't communicate to your team effectively what needs to be done. Okay? Great communication builds trust and it drives results. So we need to make sure we're very effective in this department, okay? There are a lot of people that build their entire career on being effective communicators, right? Microsoft's culture was turned around by Satya Nadella through communication. I'm not going to go deep into it, but you can, do a search and find it on the internet there. Turned the whole culture around just strictly through communication and being effective. Okay? Why does communication matter for leaders? Okay? A leader's communication, it shapes the team's culture, the morale, we've already mentioned, the performance, okay? There are studies that show a team with clear communication is 25% more productive. Okay, these are Gallup studies, McKinsey studies. You can look them up, give them a Google. It shows it right there. 25% more productive, which means 25% plus more effective in completing the mission. Okay, a lot of the things that are pitfalls of miscommunication are misunderstandings, assumptions, right? Overly directive styles also can erode trust in your team. No one likes to be micromanaged. Well, maybe some people do. I can't stand being micromanaged. That's why I'm a terrible employee. But a leader, for example, who emails vague instructions and expects perfect execution is not going to be a happy camper when the results come back. Okay? You have to be specific. You have to get to the point, right? Now, today, we got a lot of remote or even hybrid remote work. These environments, communication is harder in those environments, but it's even more critical, right? I want you to think about a time a leader's words inspired you, or a time that they left you confused. What made the difference between you being confused or you being inspired? Was it clarity? Was it messaging? Was it relatability? What made it inspiring versus what made it confusing? Think about that, right? So, what does effective communication look like? Let's break this down. Our first pillar that we're going to go over is clarity and conciseness, okay? Clarity matters. Ambiguity breeds confusion every single time. Leaders, they got to distill complex ideas into simple, actionable messages. Don't try to give every single little detail. Give the overview, say this is what's happening, make it simple, layman's terms, and then make the actions specific. This is what needs to happen, this is the goal, and this is what I need you to accomplish specifically, right? There's something that you can employ. It's called the bluff method, right? Bottom line up front. State the key message first, just the key message, and then you can elaborate beyond that as you need to. Avoid complicated language or specific jargon that maybe some people are new to the industry, maybe they don't understand it, right? Like if I tried to give you a military brief and you have no idea, you've never been in one, you've never been in the military, you're not going to understand it. If I try to break down a professional tennis match and you've never turned on a tennis match before, if I'm trying to break down technique and you've never even hit a tennis ball, you are going to be lost in the woods, my friends. Okay? Practice the bluff method, bottom line up front, and then also another thing that I like to call the 5 W's, right? Who, what, when, where, why. Okay? Very seems obvious. Everybody knows these things, but that's going to ensure complete messaging. Make sure you're addressing the who, what, when, where, why, and get the hell out of there. That's all you need to do. Okay? People use clear communication to rally their team. Think of sports, right? Think of a high stakes moment in sports. Great example, obviously, one of the best performers of all time, Tom Brady. Fourth quarter, they got to drive down to win the game. There's a minute left. He's getting the team together. He's telling her to stay focused. He's not saying, look, we're going to do this and that, and he's getting all these complicated things. No, we're going to stay focused. We're going to stay motivated, and then we're going to follow our instructions. He's motivating them. He's being direct. He's rallying the troops to get motivated and to stay focused. That's the mission in that. And then he's going to help them execute. And you can stay cool, calm, and collected because you know everyone's focused. You're going to deliver that ball. Ball's going to move. We're going to score. Game is over. Right? Next time you send an email, right? Think about before a meeting or email, right? Ask, what's one thing I need my team to understand? Or one thing I need them to do? And before you send out that email, this is a challenge. Take 10 seconds, reread it, cut out any fluff, anything that doesn't need to be there, and see how it changes the response. I guarantee you it's for the better. Straight to the point. Cut out the bullshit. Okay? Clarity gets your message across, but that's only half the battle. Okay? That's only half the battle. Let's talk about pillar number 2, listening. This might be more important than clarity. Actively listening, pillar number 2, and having empathy. Actively listen. Open your ears, shut your mouth, Listen to what has to be said. Great leaders, they don't just speak, they listen to understand. They're not just listening to respond, listen to understand, right? Research, again, this is an SHRM study, you can look it up. 70% of employees feel unheard by their managers. 70%, that's almost 3/4 of employees out there. There's a lot of underqualified people in management positions, as we already know, right? There are things we can do, okay? Some active listening techniques you can use that you can implement. Don't just sit there and focus on them and think that that's actively listening. I'm looking at them in the eyes, and really the words are just going in one ear and out the other. I've been there, okay? Even if you're disinterested, use these techniques, right? Paraphrase to confirm understanding when they're spoken to, okay? After they tell you, okay, repeat it back. What I hear you saying is, you're confused. What I hear you saying is that this, and this isn't clear, or you're confused about this, and that, or you're having this or that problem. And then ask open-ended questions. Ask questions. When you're asking questions, they know you're listening. They know that you're engaged in the conversation. Okay? Can you tell me more about what's challenging you? Can you tell me more about what you don't understand? Can you tell me a little bit more about how I can do better to clear up the confusion that you're experiencing, right? Still, maintain eye contact, avoid distractions. Don't have midway through the sentence be checking your phone, okay? And then we have to put empathy into action. Acknowledge their emotions without judging it. Even if you think it's the most ridiculous or mundane or blown out of proportion thing and you're not understanding why they could be upset or why they're confused or why they're frustrated, acknowledge it without judging them. Okay, even if you don't understand what they're going through, acknowledge that you hear what they're going through, right? I can see this project is stressing you out. Let's figure out how to support you, how to reduce that stress. Empathy. People need empathy, right? Some people don't, and that's okay. But if someone's coming to you and they're actively trying to fix the problem, you need to hear them and you need to have empathy on how to fix that situation, even if it seems like the smallest thing in the world to you personally, because you're obviously not confused. You're the one that's communicating. So you understand. Other people don't always understand what's going on, right? A leader who turns around a disengaged team by holding listening sessions to understand their concern. This is something I've done in the past, right? Let's get everybody together. Let's get on a Zoom call. Hold a listening session, okay? Give me feedback. Where is everybody confused? What are we doing well? What are we not doing well? How can I get better? Ask those questions. Ask your team how you can get better. It's going to foster trust, and it's going to lead to you being a more effective communicator, ultimately, okay? In your next conversation, okay, here's how you can put this into action right away. Focus on listening 80% of the time. Just listen. Shut your mouth, listen. And then speaking just 20% of the time. Also cutting out the fluff like you would in an email or presentation. Listen 80% of the time. Think speaking 20% of the time. And then take note in your mind how it changes the dynamic of the conversation. You're probably going to get better response and higher morale out of your team because they know you're listening and you know that they are cared for, that you care about what they're feeling, you care about what they're going through. Okay? Now, I'm going to give you a prompt to reflect on this. Okay? When was the last time? Think about it and then see how you can fix this or implement. When was the last time you felt truly heard by a leader? What did they do? And now how can you take that and how can you use it? Okay? Listening builds trust. But communicating as a leader, it requires influence. You have to have influence. So let's explore a little bit now. Pillar 3 on how we inspire action from the team that we're leading. Okay, so pillar 3 in influence and inspiration. Very key as a leader. You have to be able to inspire. You have to be able to influence positively. Negatively is not going to get you anywhere. Influence matters. Leaders, they motivate teams to act, especially during change or uncertainty or during crisis, when things are murky, when we're not sure what's going to happen. If there's something going on that might seem like a very tall hurdle, you need to motivate the team to keep their head up and to continue acting, to continue to move forward. Some people need that external motivation, and they need confidence from their leaders, and they will have that courage to continue forward even in the face of the tallest adversity, in the face of the hardest challenges. Okay? How can we inspire people? This is something that comes naturally for some people, but also, think about when you've been inspired. Use storytelling. Share a vision or a personal story to make a goal relatable to everyone else, right? Something in everyday life that's similar to what's being experienced, and then say, hey, this is my personal story, right? A manager explaining why a project matters by tying it to customer impact. This is why we're doing this, because it's going to impact the customers in this way. It's going to drive sales forward in this way. It's going to engage people in this way. This is why we're doing this. Explain the why. That's going to motivate people. It's going to inspire people to think outside the box. Say, okay, this is why we're doing this. Okay, now I can take what we're doing and I can make it even better. All right, and it makes sure it aligns with values. We want to connect tasks to the team or organization's mission. What is our overall mission? That needs to be clear as well, right? And we need to make sure the tasks we're assigning align with those values always. We don't want to go off on random tangents. People are going to get so confused. I thought this was the mission, but now you're sending me over here to do this. I thought we were supposed to be fixing people's pool equipment. Why am I pressure washing their pavers? It makes no sense, right? Terrible example, but you get the idea. Now, I have something that you can do for this as well. You can go and implement it, right? We want to practice a 30-second vision pitch for a project you're leading. Record it. 30 seconds. Record your vision. And then watch it back. And then look at your tone. Look at your energy. Are you inspired by it? If you're not, you need to refine your tone, refine your energy. Okay? And make sure you're always being authentic. Admitting a mistake is authenticity. Being vulnerable is authentic. Asking questions, asking people's advice, asking for their help is authentic. If you think you know everything and you've got it, people are just going to be frustrated and they're going to feel unheard anyway, no matter how good you are at communicating, no matter how well you're following the first two of these pillars. Okay? 55% of communication impact is nonverbal. 55%, right? Nonverbal cues. So if you've got a warm tone, if you've got a confident posture, even if you don't feel like you 100% know what you're talking about, happens to me all the time. If you're confident in it, when you walk in the room and you have a warm, welcoming tone and you're upbeat, these nonverbal cues, right? If you can see it, if they can see it in your eyes, if they can feel it in your energy, that's going to inspire people before you've even communicated what needs to be done, right? Look at Oprah, for God's sake. She's very authentic. Her authentic communication inspires millions and has made her billions of dollars. Not that the money's everything, but she's a very effective communicator overall. Okay? Now, what's one way you can make your next team meeting more inspiring? I want you to think about that. Okay? I want you to take this and think about, okay, look at the last team meeting. How can I make the next one more inspiring? That is your call to action. Now, inspiration drives action. When people are inspired, they want to go. They're ready to get on that horse and take off and get to work, right? But not every audience you have is the same. Not every team member is the same. So you have to be able to adapt your style of inspiration, your style of motivating other people. Because what motivates one person or one room might not motivate the next room, which leads us into our fourth pillar, adapting to your audience. Okay, why does this matter? I just said it. Different team members need different communication approaches. You've got analytical people, you've got creative types, you got people that struggle with focusing, you got people that are tired, you got people that have financial problems, you have people that are athletes, you have people that prefer direct approach, you have people that prefer being a little more soft. It's very tough, but it is doable, and adaptation matters. Okay, how do we adapt? One, it's obvious. You got to know your audience. Know your audience. Use tools like DISC or Myers-Briggs, great tools to understand team preferences if that's applicable to you. Put out a survey. Go and talk to people outside of the meetings. Learn about them. The more you communicate with someone, the more you learn about them and get to know them, you're gonna know intuitively how to inspire them. You're gonna know what kind of person they are. You're gonna know how they prefer things. Shit, ask them directly. What inspires you? What communication style do you prefer? Ask them. They'll tell you. Be like, hey, sometimes am I too direct with you? Or do I need to soften up a little bit? Or if you don't want to ask them directly, be like, hey, ask people's opinion on how the last meeting went and what they thought. And you'll learn from them what their personal communication style. Ask people individually. Learn, adapt, right? Tailor your medium. Some people like emails. They don't want that face-to-face. Other people love the face-to-face or the Slack updates. They love that. They thrive on that. They want that personal connection. But other people just want the email. They just want the text message. And that's fine because they're busy, they're focused, they know what they need to do, they're not confused. Send the email. Send the bluff email. Okay? And then flex your style, baby. Be direct with data-driven team members. Be direct. Flexible, right? Use stories with big picture thinkers to inspire, right? Use anecdotes to inspire people. Maybe you've got athletes that just want grit, determination, right? Maybe supply some data, again, for those data-driven team members. Be like, hey, this is what we're showing. This is where we're growing. When we're doing this, we see these numbers. When we're doing this, we see these numbers. So let's do this. Simple. Be flexible. Include it all. And also, it depends. Maybe you need to get certain people in a room at a certain time to go over certain different things, depending on departments, depending on how many people you're working with. If it's just a handful of people, you can probably be flexible with one room. If you're talking about 1,000 employees, maybe you got to go with departments, and then the overall meaning is very broad when you bring the whole team together. Okay? And there's also cultural differences the more people we're dealing with. And there's also generational sensitivity, right? We've got very diverse backgrounds and communication norms based on when people are born, right? Gen Zers, they might prefer more informal, digital first communication, okay? Whereas a boomer, pick up the phone, they want to talk to you, or bring them into your office, talk to them directly. Pick up the phone and call them, talk to them directly. They don't want an email. They don't want to deal with all this technology stuff, right? And then your Gen Zer is like, shoot me an email so I can read it, know what to do, I can move on. I got things to do, I'm rolling, right? We have to take these things into account. And that just, again, goes with knowing people. All of these things tie together. A leader who has adjusted their style to connect with a global, multicultural team is going to be more effective, the more flexible that they can become, right? What's a good example of that? Think of an organization. You've got, a place like Apple. They've got people working from all over the world in all different regions of the world that they're dealing with. They probably deal with them in different ways, different generations of people. I guarantee you their communication is not the same across the board. Maybe they've got general memos, things like that, but I guarantee you they're not meeting with their developers the same way they're meeting with their marketers. They're not meeting with their creatives the same way that they're meeting with the board of directors. Okay? So map out your team's communication preferences, right? Do a quick survey. Again, the more we can know about people individually, the more we know how we can be effective in our communication to them. Okay? Do a quick survey. Find out ask them directly even. If you don't want, it doesn't have to be a formal thing you send out, they got to fill out. Go and talk to them. And then adjust one interaction this week. One interaction you have, adjust it based on what you've learned about that person's preferred communication style. Okay? Think about now a team member that you struggled to connect with. And think about how their communication style differs from yours. Think about maybe the way that I'm trying to communicate with them is the problem. That's why we're not connecting. And adjust that communication relationship. Okay? Now, we've covered all the pillars. So what I want to do is I want to wrap up and tell you how to pull all of this together. How can we pull all the things we've just talked about together and start to be more effective communicators in our leadership role? Okay, our 4 pillars, what were they? Clarity, active listening, influence, and adaptation. Okay? Effective communication is not just a skill. It's the glue that holds teams together. When you can communicate effectively, you can execute effectively. And when you execute effectively, you're going to be successful. The team is going to be successful. The mission is going to be completed. That is a fact. Okay? So this week, I gave you things that you can work on with each pillar. Pick one to focus on, right? Maybe it's writing clearer emails. Maybe it's listening more in a one-on-one interaction, the 80-20 rule. Or practicing a motivational talk. Record yourself and see how your demeanor is. Are you confident? Are you projecting well? Are you inspiring yourself? If you're not inspiring yourself, how are you going to inspire others? It's not, right? Invite engagement. Invite people to give you feedback. It's okay. Again, that's just going to build trust. It's just going to show that you're authentic, that you're a real person. Okay? That you have the same struggles, that you have the same issues, you have the same headaches, you have the same motivations as everyone else, regardless of your position within the team. Okay? So this week, pick one pillar. Okay? And then please share your experience with me. Leave a comment on this, leave a comment on a video, share your experience. Send it to me directly, send it to us in an email, extrarvrb@gmail.com, and share how it worked. Share what didn't work. If you have questions, I'm happy to help individually. Reach out. Happy to help. I want to see everyone succeed. I want to see everyone grow. I want to see these missions get accomplished because it's only going to inspire more. The ripple effect when good things happen is just amazing. I have people reach out all the time that get inspired, and that is just the driving force that keeps me going. When someone's like, hey, I saw your your YouTube short, and I really needed that today. Thank you for posting that. It's unbelievable. That is the fuel that keeps me going because it's just that one person, right? Thousands of people could see it, but that one impact makes it all worth it, makes the time doing it worth it. And that drives the discipline for me to, even if I don't feel like doing it, there's someone out there that might need to hear this today. I don't feel like it, but it could change or save that person's life hearing it today. Okay? And so, guys, as Maya Angelou said, people will forget what you said, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. Remember that. I love that quote. Okay? Go make your team feel heard. Go inspire. Go make them feel valued in their role. And watch how the success grows. Okay? I really want to thank everybody for listening. Got amazing content being filmed for our Patreon launch. So when you go and subscribe to the Patreon account, you're going to get leadership breakdowns, marketing breakdowns, branding breakdowns. I've got a lot of great long form content for you guys in terms of how to get better at your craft, get better as a leader, get better with whatever you're doing, whether you're an athlete, whether you're a businessman, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you are an employee, whether you're a mailman, it doesn't matter. Whether you are an operator, these are all things that you can take out into the real world and apply. And we're going to have some really great in-depth and behind the scenes footage of what goes on here. I promise you there's a lot more that goes into this than meets the eye. And I just really appreciate everyone listening. It's not possible if you don't listen. And I just really hope that it can make an impact on your life and that it can move you forward and help you reach your goals and help you be more effective in your role as a leader. And I really appreciate you listening. If you want to, it doesn't cost you anything. Go like, subscribe, leave us a 5-star review on Apple and Spotify. It does more than you could know. And the Extra Rvrb shop is live. All proceeds, again, going to different charities to help veterans. Happy to do that. So go check out the shop. We're going to have some new merch dropping very soon. Got some designs I'm finalizing. Very excited about those. And I'm very excited about a couple of our guests that are going to be coming on here in the coming weeks, months. It's going to be great. And as always, we're going to keep doing the weekly recons. I just like doing it. If it helps you, that's even better. If it helps one person, it makes it all worth it, makes the time doing it worth it. And I just, again, it's not possible without you guys listening. So thank you so much. Go out, be great. You've got this. And let's get after it. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.